I think my team is playing at a higher level. We're winning games. We're competing for the playoffs, and that's what everybody wanted from the Pistons this year. We wanted growth, and I think our team is doing better and better, and I'm trying to lead that.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Detroit basketball is back, and there's one man in particular to thank for this. Yep, you guessed it, Cade Cunningham. The 23-year-old is having a breakout season, proving to the fans, the critics, and the entire NBA that he's the best he's ever been. Shout out to BetUS, and well, today we're diving into why Cade Cunningham is dominating the league, what's made him almost unstoppable this season, and why he's on track to bring the Detroit Pistons back to their glory days. Let's all close our eyes and think back to the 2021 NBA draft and think about how Cade Cunningham was the #1 pick in the draft. Now I want you to think about the following names: Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, Jalen Johnson. Being selected with the #1 pick in the draft is one thing, but being selected over multiple stars like these is a whole other story. If you want to talk about pressure, well, Cade Cunningham knows about it all. On top of all this, he then had been given the responsibility of carrying a tanking organization in Detroit, where they haven't made the playoffs since 2019, where they got swept in the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks, who had an MVP Giannis. Cade is now playing in his 4th NBA season and not just having a career year stat-wise, but he's also on pace to get the most wins in a season that he's ever gotten. The Pistons' highest number of games won in the Cade era is 23. The Pistons are only 1 win away from tying this. They've only played 39 games and are on pace to shatter that measly 23 record that they had in the 2022-23 season. But we'll get more into that in a second. Let's compare the season that Cade is having compared to some of the names that we mentioned earlier. Scotty Barnes is averaging around 20 points per game, 8 rebounds and 6 assists, while also averaging 1.5 steals. Evan Mobley is averaging around 19 points per game, 9 rebounds and 3 assists, while also doing his thing on the defensive end, averaging 1.4 blocks. And finally, Jalen Johnson, who's having an all-star caliber season himself, who's averaging a double-double with 19 points per game, 10 rebounds and 5 assists, while also averaging 1.4 steals per game and 1 block per game. But now let's look at Cade's averages, because he's averaging a career-high 25 points per game, a career-high 6 rebounds, and a career-high 9 assists. I mean, it's not even close right now. I never thought I'd say this, but the Detroit Pistons know what they're doing. This year, the Pistons are in the playoff hunt with a record above 500 for the first time in years. It's been a rough and long wait for Pistons fans, and as I mentioned before, the last time they made the playoffs was in 2019. Oh, and they also made the playoffs in 2008, and for context, Instagram wasn't even a thing. For years, this team was stuck in rebuild mode, but Cade Cunningham managed to change that this season. The NBA is a team sport though, and there's another reason why the Detroit Pistons saw such early success. They did their homework in the offseason and made some moves that didn't seem big at the time, but it's showing to be crucial right now. For starters, the Pistons signed forward Tobias Harris to a 2-year, $52 million contract. Harris not only is a versatile scorer, but he's also a former Detroit Pistons player himself. He brings veteran leadership to a relatively young team, trying to find the identity that they have been looking for the past 3 to 4 years. Tobias Harris is also able to create his own shot, which has been very helpful for the Detroit Pistons' success. Even when he's not doing good offensively, he's still 6'9" and can move at most players, so he'll try even harder on defense if the offense isn't quite going. Another huge addition to the team is shooting guard Malik Beasley. The Detroit Pistons managed to sign Malik to a $6 million deal for 1 year. When you think of the term sharpshooter, Malik Beasley should always come to mind. It doesn't matter where he is on the court, and it definitely doesn't matter who is in his face contesting his shot. If he sees the slightest amount of space, he's shooting the ball. He's also comfortable slashing to the rim and utilizes the pump fake to get to the basket a good amount of time. Being an elite shooter creates a ton of opportunities for yourself and your team. Beasley just came off a career year shooting 41% from 3 for the Milwaukee Bucks, so this signing was simply a no-brainer, and now he's shooting 40% from 3 this season too. These two, along with Jalen Duren, who's averaging a career high in blocks and assists, and Isaiah Stewart, who is a 6'9" power forward intimidating teams with his old school bad boy Piston style approach to the game, make this team dangerous, literally and metaphorically. As of right now, January 21st, the Detroit Pistons sit at the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, which may seem bad at first, but when you realize that the East is up for grabs, they're only 1 to 2 wins from the 6th seeded Atlanta Hawks and are on a 1-game win streak after defeating the number 2 seeded Houston Rockets by double digits. And they have Alperen Sengun, Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, and Jalen Green. But what would you say if I told you that wasn't even the Pistons' most impressive win of the season? But now we have to talk about why Cade should be in the All-NBA discussion, and it's about to get crazy. Before we talk about that, shout out to BetUS, because you could go on their website and predict how many regular season wins the Detroit Pistons are going to get. Currently, they're projected to get over 38.5 wins, but I'd say they could get the 40 wins. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take this. And if you want to take it too, BetUS is offering a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Cade Cunningham has had some very impressive games this season and led Detroit through battles against actual juggernauts in both conferences in the NBA that they maybe shouldn't have even had a shot against. He just had a statement win against the New York Knicks the other night, who currently sit at the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks actually managed to hold Cade Cunningham to a shocking 7 points on 3 for 10 shooting in the first half, but then Cade remembered who he was, and he dropped 18 points in the third quarter alone. The most impressive part about it was that he did this on 70% shooting from the field and had 0 turnovers in the quarter as well. But the job wasn't done yet. There was a whole other quarter to go, and it ended up being a close one. Cade Cunningham went right at the Knicks' best defenders in the last couple of minutes of the game and reminded everyone why he's one of, if not the best guard in the league right now. He managed to get past Mikal Bridges and went right at Karl-Anthony Towns, and then right by OG Anunoby and went at Karl-Anthony Towns again. A star only manages to get their stats, but a leader manages to get his stats and get his team over the hump, and that's exactly what Cade Cunningham did versus New York in a very heated matchup. Cade Cunningham leads the Pistons in highest points per game in the last 5 years. He's averaging more assists than Chauncey Billups, and the only players with more triple-doubles than him this season are 2 proven superstars in Nikola Jokic and LeBron James. Cade has also had a game this season where he dropped a 20-point triple-double, where he also had a career-high 18 assists in a win against the Miami Heat, who just so happened to be 1 seed higher than the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham has gone at it with superstars like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Edwards, and LeBron James this season. He dropped 35 points and 11 assists against the Bucks, 40 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and a 20-point double-double against the Los Angeles Lakers. It's only a matter of time before he becomes a superstar himself, and he's definitely got the right mentality for it. Cade Cunningham believes that the Detroit Pistons can be as high as the 6th seed in the East, and he genuinely wants to compete in a playoff series.
Okay.
But no, I want a playoff
series. Right now, you guys are in the 9th spot. At the end of the season, where would you like to see the Detroit Pistons?
Above the 6th seed. Above the 6th seed. That's where I think we should.
They're a half a game away from.
Cade Cunningham will definitely be an all-star this season and arguably should make the All-NBA team if he keeps this up. But I want to know what all of you think. Do you think Cade Cunningham has a shot at making either All-NBA team? Can the Pistons actually make the playoffs? Which one of those 2 things would be more difficult to do? If you enjoyed, make sure you guys absolutely smash that like button, hit that subscribe if you're new too, and shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. I'll catch you legends in the next one.